This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, September 10th. Please stand for our invocation led by Pastor John C. George, Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning to the members of the City Council, the mayor and his staff, and our citizens of these beings. We give God thanks this morning, trusting in his goodness, and for all you will do in representing our great city. The Lord be with you, and also with you. Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon these who hold office in this city of Mobile today. Give your spirit of wisdom, hope, charity, love, and justice, that it may be prevail upon them, that with compassionate hearts, steadfast thoughts, and purpose, they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being and dignity of all people in this city, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Vice President Manzi.
He's here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Small. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The rules for this particular are quite simple. We first ask that you would silence or turn off all of electronic devices. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, ordinance, appeal, or public hearing agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, we ask that you clearly state for the record both your name and your address. Any person desiring to speak to the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk's office on the Thursday preceding the Tuesday in which you'd like to speak by 2 p.m. We require that all of commentary be pertinent to City of Mobile business. If you aren't able to follow those instructions, then you won't be given an opportunity to speak. All speakers are granted 5 minutes in which to address the council. At the ringing of the first bell, that indicates that 4 minutes have elapsed and that you have 1 minute for summarizing. When addressing the council, we ask respectfully that there be no personal address to any individual person, that all of your questions and inquiries be made to myself, who serves as chair, and if there's a member of the council who wishes to respond, they will have that opportunity. To maintain decorum, we ask that there be no public outcry and/or undue applause during the course of this meeting. Those are our rules. We're happy to see each and every one of you, and we're certainly appreciative of your interest in your municipal government. Madam City Clerk.
Approval of minutes of September 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in
Aye.
opposed? Minutes are approved. Great result.
Communications from the mayor.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hope everybody's doing well this morning. We have several announcements to make this morning. The first one is that we're going to recognize a group of ladies who are here representing the Dystonia Awareness Month. And so I'd ask them really if you would all go to the podium. We'll take the picture up there. And after I read this proclamation, then Ms. Robbie Neighbors will make a few remarks to the City Council. The proclamation reads, whereas National Dystonia Awareness Month raises public awareness and understanding of the disorder of dystonia, a disorder with numerous manifestations affecting people of all backgrounds, And whereas this observance also fosters understanding of the impact of the various forms of dystonia have on those affected and their families, and whereas dystonia is a neurological disorder representing various forms characterized by involuntary muscle contractions impeding the ability to walk, speak, see, or write, and whereas there are limited treatments for dystonia and currently no cure, and the community of uniting to cooperate on awareness efforts throughout this month. Now therefore, I, William S. Stimson, the mayor of the city of Mobile, Alabama, do hereby recognize September 2019 as National Dystonia Awareness Month. Congratulations.
Okay.
Look at him.
Okay.
I give you this. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can make your remarks now, Council.
Thank you very much, Mayor Dow, and Matt.
That's okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
That's okay.
Mayor Simpson.
I've done that.
Oh, well, I have done this so many times with the different mayors that I'm so sorry. But anyway,
It's not, I've been called worse than Mayor Dow.
I felt like if I could go to Washington and talk to the senators and congressmen about dystonia, that I could come talk to y'all. But him reading the proclamation, if you heard it, it's a neurological disorder that has to do with the uncontrollable muscle spasms in your body. And I get emotional sometimes when I talk about it, so please forgive me. But anyway, we're so grateful that he does this for us every year. And we just want to make awareness because it's very rare. Who's heard of dystonia? Nobody. I just wanted to know we have a support group here in Mobile. I have been the leader for. Nobody else will take it over, so I guess I'll just have to continue doing
That's
this.
right.
But I've had it for like 30-something years, and I'm going to continue working. So the Dystonia Foundation is located in Chicago, Illinois. So if anybody would like to make a donation, please, I'll get a brochure and send it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations and thank you. This time I asked Jim DeLapp to call upon, I think it's maybe John Peavy or
Yeah.
the Public Works people for a presentation.
Yeah, if John, if you could come down with the two crews for the council, we'd like to, Mr. Peavy's going to make a recognition of our first group of employees of the month from the Public Services Department. So we have representatives in both trash and sanitation crew, and we'll make a very brief presentation.
He's new, he doesn't know me about brief, does he? Good morning, everybody. Mayor. We have from you today Herbert Hunter. He is our only one here from the sanitation department. Saturday, Denise is another employee, but he is out of the country on vacation. And these are our trash guys, people who I will introduce in just a moment. We all know the service that they provide the citizens of our city. It's outstanding. They take incredible pride in what they do, and we are so very proud of them and what they do, quality of life of our city and our employee and our citizens. The key to this award is this is our first one for these groups. You've been encouraging us to do this for a while, and it's taken a little while. But what we did, we set up the framework to where it's not selected from the top. It's selected from among the people within the department. And let me tell you, they didn't take this lightly. They went through a big ordeal of determining who was the best. Some of them I knew immediately would be selected. But these are the people who have been selected for round one. We will do it every month from here on out. And it means as much to me and the administration, but I think it means even more to them. Herbert, you were the one that is here for solid waste. We have a lot of things that solid waste does that you don't realize. Part of it is picking up the televisions, electronics, dead animal calls. Herbert has that glamorous assignment, among other things. He's the get-along guy and gets so many things done that just make our city so much better. And Herbert, I want to thank you on behalf of the employees who selected you, because you know that was a soul-searching on their part, and a lot of qualified candidates. So we'll have more of them down here. And the next month, we have our other two. We'll have Saturday come down also for that. How about that? So we did follow through. Trash crew, this is what we call, this is TD1, the Route 1 people. They work in a team. They have your shuttle your knuckle boom operator who actually sits up top in the bad weather, swatting flies, the heat, wind, the rain, loads the materials. Your shuttle driver that works with him in concert of knowing where to stop, to be safe for him, avoiding trees and all the things of that nature. And then the shuttle operator who pulls that other trailer that helps after they get full. They got disconnect, load this one up so there's continuous activity of work. You'll sometimes see a shuttle truck sitting by the wayside, and you may say, what are they doing? Well, they're waiting for the first load to get picked up. That's why we have Charles Lee. Come on, Charles. Charles has been with the city since 1998, started as a unskilled laborer, right? And they called him the terror of the laborers. He's the stage for what people do, does an excellent job, and is very, very valuable. He's been there all the time with the employees. And because this group was selected as a team and individually, they set the pace and the standard for everybody else and what they do to come to. BJ is his driver. Great personality, works hard, knows what to do. They are a team that requires little conversation just because they have done it for so long. And then Melissa is our newest member. How many months now? About 6 months. Wow. And she runs that shuttle truck. And as you know, in our department, we've had a lot of difficulty getting employees to apply and select. So we've been very fortunate with Melissa's quality of that. So for each of you, I want to thank you for what you do on behalf of your counterparts, because they're the ones that selected you. If I get the mayor and
if we could, Mr. Peavy, we all want to be in on that picture, so y'all come on back here. There we go. Now y'all are coming. I know they're going to get these nice certificates, but do they also get any financial encouragement?
We have that covered.
$500. What about it?
The reason being is, I've got it for you. State law limits the amount of money you can have as a bonus, and we have taken that money and applied it in their safety bonuses.
Okay.
So 80 people points, they get signs, they'll have signs on their truck.
The state law does not forbid us from giving the police and $500. Why would the state law forbid us from giving the public service workers the same thing? I ain't buying it.
All right, Fred, have a seat. Let's take a picture. We're gonna go right back on it.
Right.
Oh, y'all, yeah, okay, all right.
You're making us look sharp.
Mr. Vice President.
Mr. Daves?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I would just like to thank Mr. Peavy and the administration for instituting this award program. I think my colleagues would join me in saying that you don't have to have, you don't have to have this job very long. to figure out that most of the calls you get from constituents are about their garbage or their trash not being picked up on time. And so it's really important that we have dedicated employees in those departments. And I think this program will go a long way to creating an esprit de corps that will not only help the current employees do their jobs, but also attract other employees. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Well, Mr. Peavy, I'd like for you to investigate the possibility of them being able to get the same remuneration that our public safety employees get. They come here every month, and I'm as pro-public safety as anybody on this council. If they put it on the agenda for public safety, voting for it.
Wow. We appreciate that. We'll follow up on it, but I want to tell you, the recognition from their peers means as much to them as anything.
Mr. Peavy.
But I know that doesn't put...
Mr. Peavy, I'm not buying that.
You want to take that out of your salary?
I'll take it out of yours and mine. My point is, to take it out of you take it out of yours and mine. My point is, I know the certificate means a whole lot, but we're not issuing certificates when it comes to other departments. That's all I'm saying.
I understand.
And I'm saying that not only to you, but to the administration, for us to find a way, as intricate these departments are. I know I lean on this department more than probably any other outside of public safety. If there's a way to do it, I'd like us to investigate it.
We will.
That's all I'm saying. And if it takes coming out of my salary, I don't mind, for the record.
We'll look into it, make sure. I'll report back.
This time, I would ask Director Barber to, he has some things he'd like to say in recognition of September 11th, which is tomorrow.
You know, I'm going to ask you to, I guess, step back in time 18 years, back to September the 11th of 2001, a Tuesday morning, and where were you when America came under attack? 19 al-Qaeda militiamen, militants, under the leadership of Osama bin Laden, would hijack 4 passenger planes in our country and use those planes to kill Americans in New York, in Pennsylvania, and in Washington, D.C. When you think back at 8:45 that morning on September the 11th, the first Boeing 767 would crash into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. After that, 18 minutes later, a second Boeing 767 would crash into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:45, United Flight 77 would crash into the Pentagon. And at 10 o'clock, the South Tower of the World Trade Center would collapse. A different flight, a fourth flight, United Flight 93, was hijacked shortly, about 40 minutes after takeoff from New Jersey. Passengers on that flight became aware of the attacks in New York and in Washington. There was a passenger by the name of Thomas Burnett who called his wife over an airphone. He said, "I know all of us are going to die, but there are 3 of us that are going to do something about it. I love you." It's the last she would hear from him. On that open line, another passenger by the name of Todd Beeman was heard saying, "Are you ready? Let's roll." There was a flight attendant by the name of Sandy Bradshaw snuck into the galley and began putting boiling water into pitchers so that they could help fight with the attack terrorists. The last thing she would say to her husband on the airphone is, "Everyone is running toward first class. I've got to go. Goodbye." At 10:10 on September the 11th, Flight 93 would crash into the rural field in Pennsylvania, killing all of the passengers on board. We don't know what the target of Flight 93 is, but we do know that the heroic actions of those Americans on that plane saved additional American lives. Even with their heroic actions, 10 minutes later, the North Tower of the World Trade Center would also collapse. 9/11 was the deadliest terrorist attack in the world, and it was the deadliest attack on U.S. soil since Pearl Harbor. 2,977 innocent lives were taken on that day. They included 343 firefighters and 60 police officers. Ordinary people with an extraordinary sense of duty to protect other people. It was a day when uncommon valor became a common virtue in our country. And it was a day that would unite this country in its fight against terror and fear. And it is a day that we should never, ever forget. God bless all of those that perished that day, the first responders, and all of the first responders in our country that stand that line every day today. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
let me first of all thank Director Barber for coming to remind us what happened with 9/11. There is a lesson in 9/11 that I believe all Americans ought to learn. When the South Tower was hit, it was clear that coming down. And by that time, the firemen had arrived. And the question was, what are we going to do? The firemen didn't ask the question, who is in there? Folks screaming, help me, please save me, God. The firemen, are they black? Are they white? Are they this? Are they that? No, what the firemen said, knowing they were not coming out, we going in. I think, otherwise, they united behind the situation that they were faced with, realizing they was not coming out. But it was their call to duty to rescue the preparation. And they went in to rescue them, knowing they would. I'm saying it's time for America to put this behind us and unite as one nation under God, offering liberty and justice to all from sea to shining sea. Move on.
Okay. Every week there are great things going on in the city of Mobile, and often doesn't get recognized. And really, Ms. Gregory should probably be reading this. But we recently were recognized at our tennis center by the NAIA honors for outstanding host for sports events. And all this font size is about 6 or 4. I'm going to try to read just a part of it. It says, the best NAIA championship venue award, and this is for basketball, any NAIA sports. The best NAIA championship venue award is awarded to a championship host that provides an outstanding venue to house the championship event and continually making improvements to better facilities for the event and provide our student athletes with the greatest experience overall. The Mobile Tennis Center underwent several renovations last year, geared specifically toward the NAIA Tennis Championships. These improvements included updates, benches, and awnings for spectators and resurfacing of all the courts for the high level of play that the championship brings it. It is an honor for the Mobile Tennis Center to be chosen as the best NAIA championship venue for 2018-19, said Scott Novak, General Manager of the Mobile Tennis Center. Now, that is something that all Mobilians can be proud of. It is a huge, huge compliment to our city to have people come from all over the country and to be recognized, receive this recognition. So I'm delighted to be able to share that with you this morning. Quickly, I'll tell you just a couple other things. One is that we had an opportunity to go to a small town outside of Montreal last Thursday called Mirabel. Mirabel is where what was the Bombardier C Series, which is now going to be the A220, where it's presently being built there. And so Councilwoman Gregory, Richardson, and Small, we went along with the Mobile County Commission and the Baldwin County Commission, and took a tour of the facility. The future is very, very bright for the A220. The only kind of stick in the ointment at this point in time has to do with the tariffs. And obviously, there's nothing that any one of us at our level in government can do about that. But it was a very rewarding trip to see how the plane, where it was created, meet the people that did it, and know that we're going to be participating in that program very soon. And actually, we are building an A220 right now today in the hangars at Brookley. The last comment I have has to do with commending Mr. Threadgill and the Mobile County Public School Board and system for doing something that I'm not sure anybody really thought could be done. But last Saturday, a week ago, when we were getting the debrief on the shooting at Ladd Stadium, I don't think any one of us thought that we could have metal detectors in every single venue and new protocols in place to assure that people that are attending our sports events will be safe. So kudos and the highest compliments goes to Threadgill, the school board, and all those principals and everybody that were involved in that, because the Mobile Police Department was working in conjunction with them, but it was obviously a heroic team effort. So thank everybody that had something to do with that. That concludes my remarks, Mr. Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could just comment. I was actually present and at the trip to Maribel, and one of the greatest things that, no, that's fine. I just want to promote this, is that it was an opportunity to actually meet the engineer who designed that plane and interact with him. I just thought that was awesome to know that Mobilians would be then flying this gentleman's plane. That was an awesome experience, and I thank my constituents for letting me go on that trip, because it tells me a lot about the future of Mobile, and I'm very proud of it.
Exactly. Mr. Chair, while Ms. Rich is going to the podium, just wanted to comment on the tennis center and being recognized as this type of facility, and for all of the work that they have done out there, truly means a lot, because we have put in a lot of work and effort and funding to make improvements at the tennis center. And students, as well as adults in other tournaments, come throughout the country to play right here in Mobile, and it's just gratifying to be appreciated like this from this group. So Scott Novak, Lorraine Novak, and everyone out at the tennis center do such an amazing job. And it's a true economic development product that we have out there. They bring in dollars every night through hotels and restaurants where they stay. So it's a revenue generator. And we're just really proud of everything that they do. And we probably need to get them to come out so we can meet everybody and get a real update on all the tournaments that they've brought in and the revenues that they've brought in, all year long, so that everybody can meet Scott and Lorraine and the team out there that they have, and just tell them thank you in person. So thank you.
Thank you. This is indeed an honor and a privilege to present this proclamation to a wonderful group that is with us that fight for the awareness of childhood cancer conditions. And Deborah, if you'll come forward and call who you need to have up here. Don't be shy.
Hernandez. Okay.
Gathered up now? Okay, terrific. Whereas September has been designated as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to provide education and awareness to this issue and highlight the need for more funding and research. And whereas statistics show that every 2 minutes worldwide, a child is diagnosed with cancer, and 1 in every 285 children in the United States has cancer. More children are lost to cancer in the United States than any other disease, and less than 4% of the National Cancer Institute research budget is allocated to cure childhood cancer. And whereas resources to help children with cancer include treatment at USA Children's and Women's Hospital, the Mobile Police Department has a SWAT team that conducts Operation Superhero yearly by rappelling down the side of the hospital dressed as our superhero costumes during the bell ringing ceremony to signify each child completing their treatment. And Camp Arapahoe provides year-round fun for kids with cancer, including a week-long summer camp. And Joy of Life sponsors a yearly Mardi Gras ball to support childhood cancer research. And I know there are many other groups and individuals that also raise awareness and try to raise funds as well. Whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is being recognized by Mobile's RSA Battle House Tower and the Alabama's tallest building tonight, September 10th, and I believe the 11th, with an iconic light display atop the building that will be lit in gold. Gold is their symbol. Now, therefore, I, Beth Rich, council member of District 6, along with all of the members of the City Council and our mayor, do hereby proclaim September 2019 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Mobile and urge all our citizens to join with us in this momentous occasion. And there are other proclamations for the other groups. I believe there are 10 proclamations that will be given out, when they see fit. But if Deborah would come forward, or never, okay, tell us some more about what we need to know.
First of all, just Mayor Stimson, members of the City Council, especially to you, Councilwoman Beth Rich, we would like to thank you for your steadfast commitment to this. I believe this is our third year to be here, and we greatly appreciate your support with this. We have a tremendous turnout today. Obviously, everybody here that's in gold, if you will stand up.
Oh, wow.
For each of the city councilmen, and I believe the mayor, we left you with a wristband, and I see some of you are wearing those, and I'm very grateful for that. It says Cure Childhood Cancer, and that is what we ultimately are about. We also left you with a list of all the events that are going to happen in September and October and into 2020, and all we're asking you to do is to help us publicize those things, to use your voice, your influence, your social media accounts to help us get the word out about those events. We have some wonderful young people that are here with us today. I would like to introduce them. These are the real superheroes. These are the survivors, the young people that are here today that will have fought and will continue to fight childhood cancer. And I'd like to introduce them to you. We have Don Brian Orso here with us. We have Caitlin Tillman, who is here with us, who's going to celebrate a 19th birthday on Thursday. And we have Liam Thistlewaite, who is the former king of the Mardi Gras Ball for the Joy of Life, right here. So these young people are here, and they are supported by a number of groups and that are here, organizations that are here that are represented. And if you would, Camp Arapahoe, you guys are here, if y'all would stand right here. These folks have the best run on Thanksgiving morning you can find. It's going to be right out here in Mardi Gras Park. I encourage you to sign up for it. It's one of the things on your list. We have folks here, doctors that are here and support folks from the University of South Alabama Medical Center, Dr. Imran and other members of the staff. Treat these patients every day and do a phenomenal job with what they do. We are very happy and thank you for being here because we know you all are very busy. We have folks here from the Joy of Life organization. Webb Jackson, I know he was here earlier. These folks have the best Mardi Gras ball in town, so we encourage you to support that. They also have a Mardi Gras parade coming up. And we have folks that are here from organization in Mobile that will be hosting a run at Battleship Park, a Miracle on the Bay. That organization is here, if you all will stand. And that's also listed on your group. They're going to be hosting the Battleship Run that's coming up in September. And they do a tremendous job with supporting individuals with childhood cancer. And I will tell you, we were going to have our superheroes here today. Our Mobile Police Department, they're generally here, but they had a real-life superhero event that they had to attend to this morning, and so they got delayed. But they will be there at the bell-ringing event for the University of South Alabama. They will be there, no doubt. And we also have some other individuals who I would like to recognize. Jay and Brooke Nichols, Aubrey's Army mom and dad. And also Shelley and Sean Ezel, Mary Beth's mother and father that were here. And Aubrey and Mary Beth, as you all will remember, fought a very courageous and strong fight against DIPG. And so we want to recognize. We appreciate you all so much giving us this time. We know you're busy, and thank you so much. And I know Kane's Warrior has a trophy, I think, for each one of you that he would like to present to you. And so I'll let him do that. But thank you again so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to speak with you guys again and gals. And, one thing that's important to me is I have a nonprofit called Kane's Warrior Kids. We work very close with the USA Women's and Children's Hospital. Last time I came, I gave one trophy, and I think all of you deserve your own trophy. So we've got trophies for you and for the mayor as well. And they say Kane's Warrior Kids, Childhood Cancer Champion, September 10th, 2019. I've got 8 trophies here, and I'd love to have opportunity to give these. Just as thank you guys for everything you guys done for us. So God bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
We'll get them out after our meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for all you do. I mean, because you all are the ones who make it happen. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and Kane, thanks for the trophies. Look good in the office, yeah.
We want to get our picture here. Oh, hold on. All right. You want to show the proclamation?
While they're taking that photo, if there's anyone that needs to leave, we totally understand.
You want to get in the picture? Thank you.
Oh, we got one more. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, they're clearing out. Could I ask a personal
Mr. Williams,
privilege?
go for it.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the chair if he will entertain taking out of order a little bit our agenda. We have some people here that signed up last week or before to speak, and it is non-record or non-towing related. We're going to have a rather large discussion here. It's going to take some time to talk about record and towing and all those things, and everybody's going to get their time. But rather than having these folks stick around and it being piecemealed, I'd like to, if you will, Mr. Chairman, allow Ms. Coates, then Mr. Miles, then Mr. Hill to speak on their issues, which are separate and distinctly different from the other subject.
I so move.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Probably moved to second, that we would take those individuals out of order. Ms. Coates, Mr. Hill, and what was the third one? Mr.
Miles.
And Mr. Miles. We're going to take them out of order. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Madam City Clerk?
Adoption of the agenda.
That's what we
Well, we're going to
just-
take Mr. Hill, we're taking the speakers
That's
first.
that's the motion. It is the name in order. That's exactly what we did, was amend the
I made the
motion.
motion adopted.
So take the foregone motion and put it right there, Madam Clerk. There we go.
Okay, appeals, request.
Oh, no,
What?
Ms. Coates.
Oh, you want me to go straight to the
Miles,
presentation?
Mr.
Yes,
Hill, and then we'll go with the appeals.
All right. Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Carrie Coates.
All right.
I want to say good morning to Mayor Stimson and all of the city councilmen. We appreciate you allowing us this opportunity to come before you. And we're here to ask you to join us for...
Mr. Coates, if you could give your name and address,
Okay,
please.
I do apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
I am Carrie Coates, president of Kingdom Covenant Connections, P.O. Box 11063, Chickasaw, Alabama. And we're here to invite the mayor and the city councilman to the 14th year Unity Walk, 3-day community event. And this year, that we're including the celebration of the 10th year of Unity Point Park that was put here in Mobile to make voting rights available and also to promote unity in the city. So this unity event brings people from other states and other cities, and we would just like to see some of our representatives to come here and be with us. This event has gone from a one-day event 14 years ago to now 3 days. And we have over 40 other exhibitors that will be set up this weekend, September the 13th, 14th, and 15th, to educate the community on resources that are available to the community. So I have Vice President Antoine here to let you know about those 3 days.
First, I want to say good morning to Mayor Stimson, City Councilors. Again, my name is Antoine Connor, Vice President of Kingdom Covenant Connections. And we just wanted to thank y'all for allowing us to come out, and we wanted to talk to you about our event that's coming up this weekend. Again, it's a 3-day event, and our motto is unity. Bring people together, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of denomination. Let's come together, let's fellowship, let's network, let's worship. Again, this is a 3-day event. Friday will be a job fair. We have numerous employers coming out to offer jobs to the public, and we're inviting the public to come out and just find out what's available to them. Friday night, we're going to have our prayer around the fountain at Lions Park. All of our events are going to be at Lions Park. And this is an opportunity for us to come together in prayer. We call it setting the atmosphere for the weekend. We pray from 6:30 to 8:30. Saturday morning, we have our Unity Walk progression down Spring Hill Avenue from Lions Park to Unity Point Park, where the statues of Mr. Langan and Mr. LaFleur are. And we come together there, we're going to have a short presentation, and we're going to talk about what they went through to bring voting rights and the thing that they had to fight against to come together and bring unity. It's unity and community. So that's what the basis of this event is about. And once we get back to Lions Park, we're going to have a celebration. We're going to have speakers, we're going to have singers. We're going to have health initiatives, any community initiatives that's a benefit to the community we try to have out there. And again, we invite the public to come out and come together. We need to show the community that we can come together, like I said, regardless of any barriers that's out there that's driving us apart. And Sunday, we conclude with our King of Kings Unity concert, which is bridging the gap with the younger people. And that's a concert that's going to be from 2 to 6 p.m. Again, this whole initiative is about bringing the community together, bringing strength to the community, and the only way we can do that is that we can come together and say, we can be one, we can come together, we can network with each other. So we invite everyone to come out to this event, come out and see what we're trying to do. And again, we would love for y'all to be able to just help us we're trying to get the word out about this event. We're trying to let people know that we can come together. And again, we thank y'all for allowing us to come and speak on this, and we look forward to seeing you at this event this weekend.
Thank you.
And one other thing I would like to add, we have some of our team here with us. Would you stand, team? Amen. All right. Okay. Let's have some of our crew here. We want to thank them. Okay. And again, we have people that are coming into the hotels. They're checking into hotels as we speak. We have singers coming in as far as from Massachusetts to sing. We have people coming in from Florida and Georgia, Mississippi, and we would love to have the city of Mobile to represent with us, to stand with us, especially on September the 14th when we march from Lions Park to Unity Point Park.
Thank you.
And
That's your time.
amen. Thank
We're
you.
going to have a very successful
Thank you.
event. God bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Cedric Miles.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Moss.
6 miles, 1312 Forest Cove Drive, Mobile, Alabama, 36618. I'd like to begin by commending the mayor on his efforts to try to make this the most the safest, most business-friendly city in the country. But I also think we need to try to make it the cleanest city in the country. I live in the Forest Cove subdivision, which is a pretty nice subdivision to live in. It's built by Moffett Road and Tulane Drive. And there's a wooded section behind my house on Tulane Drive. And people recently have been dumping trash in that wooded section. And there's signs all around stating that it's illegal to dump there. They're dumping old furniture, old debris where they cut their yards and cut the trees down. And my wife is always on me about making sure my yard looks good because the school children have to pass by. And the area where they do this leads right into Forest Hill School. I've called 311. They've come out in the past, and after I called them, the debris and trash has been picked up. However, it's becoming more and more prevalent, and it's just something that I think that I don't know what we can do to stop it because the signs are all around. But it would be nice if there could be something done to maybe curb that behavior, or maybe when the city's picking up the trash in the area, that they maybe just look back there to see if something's back there. Because, because it's a wooded area, every time they build a new house, the animals come out. And that's going to really, by them dumping trash back there, is really going to bring out a lot of unwanted animals and other pests. So I just appreciate if that can be monitored, or if there's something that we can do to stop it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Richardson.
Sir, do you know who owns the wooded property?
It was originally owned by the company. Mitchell, I don't know if they still own it because they sold up. Because when I moved there, I was one of the first people that moved into the subdivision. And they were going to build all these houses, but when the housing market went bad in 2008, they kind of halted the building. I know White Spunner has bought some of it, and I think Benchmark has bought some of it also, but I don't know who owns that particular part of it.
Well, my point, though, is whoever owns that property is responsible for getting the blight off of it. If I had the same blight in my yard, the city would cite me.
Right.
But just because it's in somebody else's yard,
it's not in anybody's yard.
I mean, somebody else's property. The property owner is responsible for when we need to cite that property owner, take that property owner into environmental court, is the way to stop it is make the property owner responsible.
But if the city has signs saying that it's illegal dumping,
It ain't the
couldn't
city.
the city have play some role in making sure that it's clean?
The property, that's the property owner's job. The city should cite the property owner and force the property owner to do what the property owner needs to do. Maybe they need to fence it in, I don't know. But the property owner should be responsible for removing that blight off their property. The city is responsible for issuing the citation.
Okay.
And then from that point on, it's up to the property owner.
Okay, now if the city, I'm sure the city can find out who owns that property, right? So they still can be cited. That's one. I just don't want them to turn it into a dump site, that's all.
Mr. Chair, if I might.
Ms. Gregory?
Mr. Miles, thank you for coming, and I think that you have to come down and continue talking about this, because this has been an ongoing problem for some time, that area over there. And our trash folks have been out and picked it up before, like you said. Mr. Peavy has driven by there recently. He has seen the trash. He knows it's there, and he'll get it picked up. But just like you said, the problem is, despite the signs, despite the fact that somebody does own it, once the trash is picked up, people go right back and they dump again. Where these folks are coming from, who knows? It could be from the county, could be somebody who just doesn't want to have the trash lying in their yard, or it's too big a pile and they don't want to have to pay this city to make a special pickup. We have all of those issues. But Mr. Richardson is correct. If one of these development companies actually owns the property, and I don't know why, if that's the case, the city hasn't gone after them in the past, we can go to them and ticket them and make them clean it up, because it really is the property owner's responsibility. What's happened before, though, is we can't find the property owners. Most of the time, it's owned by an individual. Okay. And it's very difficult to find those people and make them take responsibility for these vacant pieces of property. Because within the city, if there's a vacant piece of property, somebody's going to want to try to dump there. And it becomes just a big dumping ground. We see it in all of our neighborhoods, and it's just very, very frustrating. But I surely appreciate you coming and staying on top of that and making sure that the city stays on top of that. But it will get picked up now, but hopefully in the future, and Mr. DeLapp is over here nodding his head, we'll see if we can't track down who those owners are and make them take responsibility for cleaning it up so that the city doesn't have to.
Okay.
And you don't have to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, because I see it when I'm walking the dog.
I know it is extremely frustrating for you, because you keep your property up, and having that dumped trash out there just brings down property values. And for all of you who are taking care of your properties, you just want to throw your hands up. I know. Okay. I certainly understand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming down.
And Mr. Chairman, I also like to say
Mr. Small?
that, I have witnessed, even before I got on council, that those no dumping signs is more like a magnetic for people
I think it is a magnet,
drop
CJ.
trash
I really
off.
think so. Yeah.
It seems like when there's no dumping sign, that's like, hey, people just sit there and just lay trash there. So I really don't believe in no dumping signs, because again, that's like a magnetic. But also, I'd like to say to you also, and to other citizens, that you see some of us see these people coming into our neighborhoods. If you see somebody, especially with a Baldwin County tag 5, in the middle of your neighborhood with a bunch of trash or tires in the back of it, call a non-emergency police department number, because again, they're not in there just trying to, scope your neighborhood out to see if you want to move there. They scoping your neighborhood out to see where they want to dump at. I see it so many times, where there's a 5 tag, in the neighborhood, and I'm like, you got a bunch of tires in the back of that. You don't have business there. But the best thing to do, if you see anyone like that, and anything suspicious, to call a non-emergency police department number before they can try to come and bust them up. But again, those no dumping signs is more like magnetic signs. People just sit there and just want to dump right there at the signs.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Small. I certainly agree with you. I have an area of the Plateau, Magazine Point area, and I see 5 car tags all the time dumping. And I try to turn them in and hope something done about it. You wouldn't want us coming over into your neighborhood dumping from Mobile, and you ought not be coming over here dumping in our communities. And I certainly agree with you, and appreciate the gentleman coming down today to express his concern.
Mr. Hill.
Reggie Hill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mayor Stimson, to the administration, citizens and stakeholders of Mobile, good morning. Reggie here, 1007 Center Street. I rise and I normally bring a lot of numbers, but after a conversation with my council member, I'm confident that there'll be an opportunity to possibly speak before the council about ideas specifically on how we can help with the public safety measures, particularly shifting the resources where they should be. I want to just bring up a few points then in this opportunity to speak and just have a conversation with all the citizens and stakeholders of Mobile. For quite some time, this public safety idea, we've heard a lot about roadblocks, heard a lot about devices to identify other devices. We've heard a lot about increasing the personnel to solidify the things that are going on. But we have not heard anything about why not seek out a plan that is actually effective? Why not seek out a plan that has actually worked? Why not rely on something that's tangible, that can actually show you the results of what you're looking for, and then we invest in that? We go so often, just like the Public Safety Committee meeting that we had last week. I was finally so impressed that someone from the city was actually on the table. We see so often all these plans from other places outside of here. We actually had a doctor from a hospital here. We actually had a professor from a university here. So this is the first time that I've seen something like that, instead of us going to all these other areas across the country to get some plan. So I was very thoroughly impressed with that. But at the end of the presentation, the idea was, if this works, we'll have the results for such and such and such and such and such. Whereas we have tangible evidence in front of us that already works, that has already highlighted all of the areas that we're seeing that leads to these hostile and criminal and violent acts. We have that. But instead of us looking at being one Mobile, we put anything in front of people to prevent us from going forward. Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll have to find a way to use it. But we can't come to the table with that individual because we got something that we want to use to block that opportunity for our people. Now, because of my faith, I'm not concerned about any of this. I'm not concerned about any piece of that. Because the good will prevail, and it works out for the good, for those who believe. I'm a prime example of that myself. And people within this chamber who have positions of authority and power know exactly what I'm talking about. So we can continue going down this path, expecting to have different results, doing the same thing. You know, there was a guy who said that's called insanity. Doing the same exact thing, expecting different results. Or we can say, hey, we have all of these additional resources. We found a way to allow the council and administration to work so hard, so we have additional finances. So why not invest in something that could actually get to that quality of life that we talk about so much? Actually get to the plan of this being the safest place to live. Actually get to this being a place where it's business friendly. Those are not just off the wall, cuff ideas. Those are things that can happen. We have the oldest standing city hall in the country. The first public school came from here. The first elected officials from this area. We started anything in this state. The prominence in front of this country, voting rights, civil rights, education rights, segregation, boycotting. The first mill in the world, Alabama. And this is the first city. So I don't understand why we're not taking the innovative approach to fix these things by bringing everybody together. Now, the great gentleman from District 4, who was always on the books of it, he might not agree with this one. I think there are 4 branches of government. I think there are 4 branches of government. You have an executive, you have a legislative, you have a judicial, but then you have the people. I would be foolish to expect 8 people to be able to make everything perfect in the city of Mobile. I would be foolish to think 8 people. Foolish. But I would be even more foolish to not present to you something that is tangible and that can help make the solution come to be. I've done that. We're going to continue to do it. Hope I can continue this conversation. I hope that the council members will accept that invitation and have that presentation. I hope that the administration and myself can mend something together and actually move the city forward. I really do, because we have the pieces. Mobile is just some unique place that is falling apart and all this kind of stuff where people can come down here and talk about it. I have the energy and passion about it. I see it daily in all of your districts, and I know something that'll work. and I hope that we can work together if we really want to improve the quality of life for the city of Mobile. So I look forward to seeing what remarks we can have at the Finance Committee meeting today. That's how we can allocate some of those resources. We have additional monies. Let's invest in programs that actually work. We don't have to have nothing submitted from there. You can do that, and then we can do that together. Thank you for your time, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Hill, for your persistence and your passion. Madam City.
I'm sorry, are we calling the record people to speak now, or are we waiting for the
We're going to
appeal?
follow back to the agenda, Madam City Clerk.
Appeals. We have a request for waiver of the noise ordinance on October 12th in Millavon
Madam
Park.
Clerk, did we ever adopt the agenda?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Madam City Clerk. The agenda is adopted. We're going to adopt the agenda, and it is adopted, and we're going to move forward. Thank you, Madam City Clerk.
Appeal, have request for waiver of the noise ordinance on October 12th in Millavon Park, September 25th in Cathedral Square, September 14th on Peach Street, October 11th and 12th on LeSure Road.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Appeal of Jim Fernandez on behalf of Gaylord Lyon concerning the Planning Commission's approval to allow a 150-foot monopole tower with a 10-foot lighting rod on top of 3168 Midtown Park South.
Is there anyone here that would like? Okay, here we go.
This is the appeal.
They're here. They're here.
Mr. Hernandez?
Mr. Fernandez.
Right. That's
Mr. Fernandez.
I'm Jim Fernandez.
Right.
Andy.
Good morning. I'm Andy Rotenstrike here on behalf of Advanced Communications. Mr. Richard, we had talked in the pre-meeting about extending this or continuing it for 2 weeks. Between Wanda and Jim and myself and Flo, we were having some scheduling. We were wondering if you would be okay, if the council would be okay if we continue this for 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks to October 8th.
I had planned on making that recommendation.
So 4 weeks out?
Yes,
4
ma'am.
weeks.
October 8th.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we thought that anybody that had gotten a notice would have an opportunity here to go
Right.
over for 4
Yes.
weeks to tell them in.
And I'd like to hold off my time to speak until October 8th, but in the meantime, yesterday I filed with Ms. Lambert's office a letter, and I don't think I gave her enough time to get it to you guys, so I brought copies to you, and I'm just going to hand that to Ms. Lambert.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had delivered a similar document to everyone. I assume you have that.
Right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
We'll see
sir. Thank
October
you.
8th.
Anyone else that would like to speak on this particular appeal? No?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Richardson?
if there be no one else to speak, then I move that we continue this hearing until, we continue this hearing on October the 8th.
Second.
Second.
I moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all.
Today is the appeal of Chase Dearman on behalf of Cashier's Record Service concerning the decision of the Mobile Police Department to suspend their company from the MPD record rotation list.
Well, Mr. Dillman, before you would come forward, let's hear from Ms. Attorney Wanda Ramon. She's going to make a statement relative to this.
Okay.
And then that may kind of...
Yes,
sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Good morning to the City Council, Mayor, and the administration. On August 9th, the Mobile Police Department sent notice to Cashier's Record that we were requesting, or that we were going to extend their suspension from the rotation list for an additional 30 days. They appealed that suspension, but unfortunately, the appeal request was sent to the City Council, to the City Clerk's office, and did not get on the agenda like SOS Towing, Southport, and A+. And so that hearing took place August 20th. As of today, this September 10th, the second suspension is already up. So as of today, those companies are put back on the record list. That will be the same as Mr. Casher. It is not his fault that there was an error in placing him on the City Council's agenda back on August 20th. I don't want them to be penalized any further, just like the other companies who appealed and y'all denied their appeal. They're eligible to be back on the list, and I think the Casher record should be on the list as well. Therefore, I'm saying that his appeal will be moot at this point, and he would be allowed to be placed back on the list as soon as I get out of here.
That's good news.
Mr. Cassie, are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
That's great. So, so what does he need to do now in order to be back on the list?
I'm just going to make sure I've got good cell phone numbers for
No,
him.
no.
Then we'll notify him.
What
And of
we need
course,
to do.
911 will also notify him, the dispatchers, that he will be eligible for calls.
Motion table. Motion table.
Well, that's fine.
Motion.
He just wanted to hear clearly, he's back on the list, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Richardson?
I motion to table.
No problem.
Second.
Probably motion and second. Any discussion? Absent any discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The item is tabled. All right.
Okay,
There'll be good news to all our people here with the towing industry. Great. Back on the list.
are we back to the persons that signed up for regarding record?
Yes.
I'm
Are
sorry.
we on we're on public hearings, item on the agenda?
Okay, so we're going to public hearings and then we're
Yes.
going back
Yeah,
to
right,
presentation of
right.
petitions? Okay, just those three.
Yeah.
All right. Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to declare the structures at 2315 Osage Street, 1413 Chinkapin Street, 605 Patton Avenue, 551 Patton Avenue, public nuisances and ordering them demolished.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak during the said called public hearings on these addresses? If not, the public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to rezone property at 2407 O'Shell Road, south side of O'Shell Road, 130 feet east of Kirby Street from R1 to LB2.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak during this particular public hearing? If not, public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to consider approval of a certificate of public convenience and necessity to Shivani Mafi doing business as 2 Go Money Service.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak during this particular public hearing? If not, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Teresa Hoffman.
Good morning.
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 My name's Teresa Hoffman. My address is 1451 Cedar Crescent Drive in Mobile. I'm here to provide additional evidence into the complaint that I registered with the mayor, the city council, and the director of public safety last week. It's sad that as a citizen and a longtime resident of Mobile, I'm still not able to report evidence to the Mobile Police Department. I've heard nothing. They have not addressed the internal affairs report that I filed on August the 19th. In addition to the local companies, my research led me to trucking companies that had been involved in accidents in Mobile. I work with safety directors, risk managers, and loss prevention departments across the country. Director of Public Safety James Barber said in last week's City Council meeting that there has been an audit done of Pitts. The Pitts and Sons invoice in your folder was billed to a small, family-owned trucking company in Georgia for an accident inside the Wallace Tunnel on May the 3rd, 2019. It was paid by their insurance company. I have detailed the violations on the attached to the invoice. Last week, we discussed a $45 winching violation by Pitts and Sons Towing. There are $4,450 in winching charges listed on that bill. They charge double the allowable rate for the original wrecker and overbilled for daily storage. There are other charges on the bill outside of the ordinance as well. That Pitts and Sons bill is not an isolated incident. Among others, a safety director in a different state talked about an accident on I-10 in Mobile. The accident was serviced by Pitts and Sons, and to quote his word, the bill was outrageous. They had been charged over $10,000 for the recovery of their truck. He has requested a copy of the invoice from his insurance company, and he promised to email it as soon as he can. By contrast, I received an invoice from a trucking company in Texas, also involved in an accident on I-10 in Mobile. It was serviced by S&H Towing. They responded with 4 trucks. They worked for 6 hours, and they charged $150 per truck per hour, all within the current ordinance. 5 small towing companies were raided live on local news by Chief Batiste and armed detectives, all for small violations. They were immediately suspended and have been for 60 days from all towing from the city of Mobile. Mr. Casher, a United States military veteran, had his home and business raided for less than $100 in violations. That Pitts invoice represents overcharges amounting to thousands of dollars to insurance company. I have no confidence that a fair and honest investigation has been done by the Mobile Police Department on this issue. It's embarrassing and has begun to make national news. I provided you a copy of the article in your folder. I appreciate the time the council spent reviewing the information that I have provided and allowing me to speak again. I also have to say I'm terribly disappointed that nobody from the police department has contacted me in 2 weeks on that internal affairs report. It's hard for me to believe that they care.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Ms. Owen?
Pardon, no, I'm done, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Richardson?
I would like to ask Director Barber, have you seen any image that she submitted to us?
Not seen them prior to today. I do have copies of what she has submitted to the council. I'll forward to the police department.
Is winching a legal fee for a towing company to charge?
You know, and again, not having the ability to even find out what these charges are.
Chief, Director, in the ordinance, we listed what was legal. In the ordinance, these companies was arrested, was put out of business 60 days because they violated the ordinance. They charged for something that was not in the ordinance. And I'm saying it's winching in the ordinance, because if it's not in the ordinance, it's no justification for it. It's a violation. Is winching in the, to your knowledge, is winching in the ordinance?
Yes, winching can be allowed in the ordinance.
Under what? Winching, I read the ordinance, I didn't see winching. I did not see winching at all. I believe that there is justification for this allegation that this company is way out of line in what it is charging citizens. And their complaint is that we raid some of them and we refuse to do anything about it. Mr. Little is suspended. Mr. Big, we won't touch. We need to treat them all the same. I agree with them. Something has got to be done. Let me state now, until we treat them all the same, I'm not voting to suspend another person until we can treat them all the same. if someone, we were told that someone reported on these towing companies, that they was reported on, and then they investigated. Well, now they're reporting on other companies that we are not acting on. We are going to have to treat all these towing companies the same. If someone shows up and hand you the document, and then we go to question them about phone calls they have made, about emails they have sent, and we refuse to take the information they submitted, something is wrong with that. I feel that something has got to be done. This is the second time I've gotten invoices from the same company, and each time it is a gross violation, and nothing is done. What else they need to come down here with for the city to take action? I say it's time for action.
But, Mr. Richardson, I was not here for the first part of this lady's speech. The police department has taken all efforts to investigate every allegation that was made by citizens complaining about other record companies. Pitts especially was the first company that the companies who were suspended, they started sending us invoice. We have investigated every allegation, every invoice, and just because we didn't call that person back and tell them, yes, we talked to Pitts and Sons, yes, we looked at all these fees, does not mean that we did not investigate, and we're not investigating. We are treating all of the tow companies fairly. We are looking at all of the allegations, and we are investigating. Now, there are two parts to this, two moving parts. One is the district attorney's part, which, no, we are not in the position to call companies and say what the status of the investigation is with the district attorney's office. We are not privy to what's really going on with the DA's office as far as the investigation, because they're doing their private investigation. What we are focused on are the complaints as far as the charges, and we are doing what we're supposed to do. We are investigating all of those allegations, and we're accepting allegations. But what's happening is, just like what's happening to the other companies, we do everything piecemeal. They'll send us a copy of, okay, we found an invoice of this company. Y'all need to investigate them for wrongdoing. Okay, we get that, we start investigating that. Oh, you haven't done anything on that. Well, we haven't had the opportunity to finish the investigation, because a lot of times we have to get those documents. We're not only just getting documents from the record companies, we're also having to get documents from insurance companies. None of the branches are headquartered here, so you have to go through their process to get these documents. But I will assure you that the police chief is taking this matter seriously, and we're treating everybody equally as we did the others. We're doing our investigation, we're doing due diligence, and we're taking action. Our intention.
Look at that before you. Look at that one that's before you. And you see they got charges in there for winching, this, that, and other that's not legal. Let me just finish. If the police pull me over and I have marijuana in my car, it matters not about how much other marijuana I have stashed somewhere. They're going to arrest me for what's in the car. If they find something else, they're going to add that to it. So we don't need to keep on investigating when we got a smoking gun in our hand. If the insurance company's got some more information, that's good. We don't need but one violation to suspend them. We don't need no 6 violations. We got violations. We got in our hands where they violated. We don't need to wait to see is it any more out there. We can take action on what's before us.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, if you look at this is a tractor trailer. This is not a civilian vehicle. This is a tractor trailer that has commodity on it that's rolled over. You can charge wincing for a tractor trailer, because if it's rolled over, you've got to upright it. You are allowed in the ordinance to pay, to charge for wincing. I don't know what type of material, but this happened in the tunnel. That situation is going to be totally different from a vehicle that's crashed on the side of the road. You're talking about an 18-wheeler in the tunnel. You got to pull the vehicle upright. You got to make sure, because he shouldn't have been in there in the first place, so you got to ease it out to make sure you don't damage the integrity of the building. You've got to then get something to winch it out to make it right. So this, I have not seen this, but when you look at it, you're comparing apples to oranges. This is a tractor trailer that's turned over, got to get it out of the thing. So you would say that possibly this is correct. I have not seen this bill, but it's unfair for us to look at this bill that was just submitted and ask me to answer to it when I have not verified any of this.
If we need to add tractor trailers in the tunnel to the law, we can.
It is in the law.
But let me just say, when we had the towing companies here, they went and explained why we did that, because the state law required us to perform this, that, and the other, and it cost us money, and we added to it, and then it's not in the law. So if they had to do some extra things, if it's not in the law, they can't count it, they can't add it, they got to suck it up. That's what the other ones had to do. We're not making no allowances for them. They had chickens. They got to go catch the chicken. Chicken's not in the ordinance. So I'm saying, no matter what they drive, no matter what happened, we got to treat them in accordance with what the law says. And from my reading of the law, that's not what has happened.
I beg to disagree with you. If you look at your ordinance, it makes special concessions for personal vehicles versus tractor trailer rigs.
Right.
And if you get so look at the ordinance and look at the fact that this particular tow bill, they had to do the wincing and recovery, they had to store the cargo, they had to recover it and dispose of it. So this is a different situation than somebody that just had a wreck and they just need their car towed.
It's disposing in the ordinance.
Yes, all of this is in the ordinance. Read the section on tractor trailers and large vehicles.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. We could be here till about 6 o'clock. We could order dinner on this subject.
Right.
We have a meeting coming up, don't we, Ms. Rich?
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
The ordinance, not the investigation.
Right. We're going to discuss the ordinance. As Ms. Ramon said earlier, everybody who was suspended, you back on the list. Is that what you said earlier, Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
So you back on the list. Live free and tow free. Go forward. Is what we're looking for you to do. It's at 2 o'clock. Everybody's shaking their head. Come on, shake your head at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, it'll be here in this room.
Yes.
And you're welcome to keep down here.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir? 2 o'clock.
No.
I'm sorry, sir. I shouldn't even address your commentary. I'm sorry. It's come on at 2 o'clock and get all your questions answered.
About the ordinance.
About the ordinance.
Not the investigation.
And then deal with Ms. Ramon and the public safety director relative to when you'll be back on the list.
Mr. Vice President.
She has stated publicly that those who were suspended will go back on the list. And let's work with her too. The quicker you can get it done.
The quicker I can get out, the quicker I can do it.
Well, we're ready for you to go.
Mr. Vice President.
Am I released? Am I released? Am I dismissed?
I have one question. The companies that's back on the rotation list, are their investigation is over now, or is it still going on?
The police department is not investigating them. That's what's the district attorney's office is a separate investigation. We were just dealing with overcharging.
Based on the ordinance.
Based on the ordinance. District attorney's office is doing what they do based on state law.
Okay, so they clear.
I can't speak for the district attorney's
with
office.
the city.
They're clear. They're back on the list. We say, glad you're back on the list. Charge according to the ordinance, and we have no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Am I dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, wait. I don't issue an order, so whoever issue your orders can tell you, get me in any trouble. But
Right.
we appreciate you being here. And what did you say, Mr. Davis? Madam City Clerk?
On this?
Chad
Thank you.
Fountain.
Is he back on?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chad Fountain. I'm at 5713 Three Notch Road. All my answers was pretty much, all my questions was pretty much answered.
That's great.
That's great.
All right.
And I want, tomorrow's 9/11, if everybody can do a good bit for tomorrow, it'll make a difference in the world.
100%.
Thank y'all.
Just say amen.
All right.
Gary Smith.
How y'all doing?
Morning.
Gary Smith, 44 Ashford Road North. First off, I want to apologize for that outburst. Didn't mean for that to get out there. I'm just curious when we was going to be put back on so we can go to work.
Yes, sir.
And I do look forward to meeting with y'all at 2 o'clock to try and resolve this situation that we have.
Yes, sir.
You know, because it is a broken ordinance, and I think things do need to change. And hopefully that y'all are going to allow us to have time to review this and come back with some suggestions to where we don't have to keep coming up here every Tuesday for a month
There'll
or
be a
something like
second
that.
meeting. There'll have to be a second meeting.
All right.
Because this one is working off of the old ordinance and taking your input, and then we'll have a second opportunity after a new ordinance is drafted before we vote.
Okay, the only thing I ask is once y'all get it drafted before we have the second meeting, could y'all at least email that to us so
We'd
we
be
will
happy
be
to.
able to
It'll be-
review
it'll
that?
be a
And when we
public
come
document.
in, we can, you know,
It'll be a
able to
work in
discuss it.
progress, but I think that's fair.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Matthew Hoffman.
Good morning, Council.
Good
My name
morning.
is Matt Hoffman. I reside at 1451 Cedar Crescent Drive. As Ms. Ramon had stated, we're all back on rotation. I would like to ask, if the district attorney does not present charges against these 5 towing companies, can our record of 2 suspensions be expunged from the record? The ordinance currently says that 3 suspensions within a 24-month period will result in an immediate revulsion from the rotation and termination of your city operating license. Just wanted to know if she could answer that for us. Thank you.
Madam City Clerk.
That's it.
We're going with the regular agenda.
Okay. CIP resolutions being introduced, CIP resolutions being held over. 21815, authorized contract with Saga Consulting for 2019 CIP Drainage Group B.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Resolutions held over 21819, authorized contract with Centaur Building Services Southeast for Mobile, Alabama Cruise Terminal Janitorial Services.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance is being introduced for the first time, 64033 through 87034.
By council rules, these ordinances will hold for 1 week.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 03826 through 08841.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 03826 to 08841.
Second.
Probably moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
03826, reappoint Jeff Newman and George Lofton to the Golf Course Advisory Committee. 31827, authorized grant application to ALEA for the Homeland Security EOD grant. 31828, authorized grant application to Gulf Coast Resource Conservation and Development Council for fitness equipment of the Parkway Senior Center. 31829, authorized grant application to ADECA for Project Safe Neighborhoods Grant. 37830, 831, 832, 833, 834 are recommending approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license for Hers on Government Boulevard, for a restaurant retail liquor license for Voodoo Wing Company on O'Shell Road, for a restaurant retail liquor license for Moon Pie General Store on St. Francis Street, for issuance of a real beer, table wine on/off premises license for 3 Flavor on Airport Boulevard, and for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for Little Tokyo Steak and Seafood on Cottage Hill Road. 40, 835, 836, 837, and 838 are declaring the structures at 2315 Osage Street, 1413 Chickapin Street, 605 Patton Avenue, and 501 Patton Avenue public nuisances and ordering them demolished. 58839 assessed cost for removal of weeds, Weedling Group 1593. 31840 authorization to apply, accept, receive a notice of award for grant assistance for the 2020 Mobile River National Register nomination grant for the Historic Preservation Fund, U.S. Department of Interior, and Alabama Historic Commission. 08841 approved requisitions over $7,500 for the week of September 2nd.
So moved. Second.
Probably moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Vice President.
Mr. Small.
Yes, on Resolution 31-828, authorizing grant application to the Gulf Coast Resource and Development Council for the fitness equipment for the Parkway Senior Center for $25,000. I'd like to thank Representative Barbara Drummond for bringing this grant to us. They will be, if we receive the grant, that there will be this equipment at the Senior Center on the Parkway. And again, this is pretty much coming from the state. And again, I'd like to thank Representative Barbara Drummond for bringing that to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution's been introduced for the first time, 09842 through 37849.
By council rules, said resolution was leveled for 1 week.
Call for public hearings, 41850, call for public hearings to consider the revocation of business license of Haram Panu and Indujet Panu. I'm so sorry for pronunciation of names. For houses located at 259, 261, and 263 South Broad Street, scheduled September 24th. 41851, call for public hearing to determine whether the downtown Mobile Business Improvement District should be continued, modified, or terminated, scheduled November 12th.
So moved.
Second?
Been properly moved in second. I'd like to discuss 41850. This has been an item of outstanding interest to residents on Broad Street, and I hope that they will show up in great numbers, but choose 2 or 3 representatives to speak, so that we can move expeditiously with revoking this particular business license. This is a slumlord, just a slumlord in general. Just intends on operating flop houses and doesn't intend on doing any better than what he's done in the past. And so I'm glad to see this on the agenda. Appreciative of the Public Safety Director, Ms. Ramon, Ms. Wanda Cochran, the Oakley Garden District Association President, Mr. Matei, and everyone, the Cunninghams, Audrey and Carl Cunningham Sr., for their persistence in this particular matter. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The public hearings are called.
Announcements.
All right, made it through this particular agenda. Let's start with Mr. Small.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. As the mayor had stated earlier, that him and my colleagues and other people had traveled to Canada last week, and there are many opportunities for the citizens of Mobile to have great advantage of what's going on. And I advise anyone to pretty much log on to AID.com and really just take advantage of what's going on. And even for the parents, by sending their kids to school, especially to BC Rain, to get a part of be a part of the apprenticeship program. I like what Airbus is doing for our youth, because they realize that our workforce is low, and in order to create a high workforce, we have to really get our kids' mind wrapped around different industries that we have here locally. And pretty much they did pledge that they would do more which Airbus is really doing a lot for, especially for the South DIP schools, Pillins, Gilliard, and BC Rain. But they said they would reach out more to the schools and make sure that our kids get their heads wrapped around aviation. You know, I hate for people to be moving here from Texas and California and New York to get the jobs right here in our backyard. We have no kids in our public school systems, in our private school systems right here in Mobile County can't just, you know, go ahead and fill up these jobs that are coming to Mobile. And pretty much, you know, this is the beginning. This is not the end, this is the beginning. But it was great news that we did receive in Canada. It was a refresher, and believe me, you know, Mobile has a bright side, and it's going to get brighter as the years go by. Just a reminder to the citizens of District 3 that we have our community meeting on Tuesday, September the 24th at the Revelation Baptist Church. And we actually going to have a job fair where at 5 o'clock p.m. where we invited AIDT and also Walmart Distribution Center, Airbus, and other companies we invited. Again, the job fair will start at 5 o'clock p.m. and our district meeting will begin at 6 o'clock p.m. and we'll be beginning updates from many city officials, and also the public housing board had also committed that they would be coming. Many residents have questions about the transformation as what's going on in the develop in the Maysville, Oakdale communities. Again, this will be on September the 24th, Tuesday at the Revelation Baptist Church. Job fair start at 5 p.m. and the district meeting starts at 6 p.m. Thank you, Vice President Manzi.
No problem at all. Distinguished gentleman from the 3rd District. We're going to go to the distinguished lady from the 7th District, Ms. Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that. Just want to let everyone know who drives Old Shell Road, who has asked what is going on with all of the barrels on the culverts. There is a pretty good-sized drain project happening. The culverts are cracked, and before we started working on the culverts themselves, we had to go in and vacuum out all the debris that gets into those culverts, which of course backs everything up and causes water problems and drainage issues. So that has been done. Now we're waiting on the culverts to come in, and when work is ongoing, that means traffic will be backed up. So we ask for everyone's patience on that. The area is close to the I-65 service road there at Old Shell. And as you've already heard, a group of us was able to go to Canada this past week. I joined in the group, and what an experience, what a fabulous facility. And I think I can probably speak for the rest of the people who were there. I just get chill bumps thinking what meal will be like and look like when we see the facility in Mirabel, what they are doing and what we will be doing very, very soon. We're already building the one airplane. Facility is being built now. The opportunity for growth is remarkable. And just every time I think about it and we talk about it, I truly do get chill bumps just knowing what's ahead for our city. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the distinguished gentleman from the 5th District, Mr. Joe Davis.
Thank you, sir. Two things. First of all, there will be a meeting of the Council's Finance Committee today at 3:30 in the Council Conference Room on the 9th floor of this building. This is an opportunity for the Council to continue its discussion amongst itself and with members of the administration concerning the proposed fiscal year 2020 budget. We did have a public hearing on that budget last week, so no public comment will be taken this afternoon. Since Ms. Gregory talked about construction on Old Shell, I'm going to talk for a minute about the construction on McGregor Avenue between Old Shell and Dauphin Street. And I have gotten a lot of questions having to do basically around two issues. Why do we need sidewalks on the other side of the street, and how long is it going to be before the work is done? And the answer to the first question is that it's more than just sidewalks. It's sidewalks, curb, gutter, and drainage. And whenever you get into drainage, once you start digging, as we found out on Florida Street, once you start digging, you don't know what you're going to find until you start digging. So I really don't have a completion date on that. I suspect it's somewhere around the end of November, but that would depend on That would, pardon?
I'll get the date.
Okay.
That's-
But that, you know, even from our new director, that's a guess, because it depends on what we find down there, how much rain we get, and I'll tell you the other thing it depends on. It depends on how many people we have driving along that stretch road that don't have any business on McGregor Avenue. Because every time someone drives down that road, they got to stop what they're doing, and especially now where they're digging holes along the side of the street. And the people who use that street, the best they can do to hurry that construction along is not use it. If the only way you can get to your house is on that stretch of road, then you got to use it. But if you can use any other way to get to where you're going, you need to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daves. We'll now hear from the distinguished gentleman from the First District, Mr. Fred Richard.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too had an opportunity to travel to Canada. We had officials from Airbus, key officials from Airbus with us, and we had officials from the French Bombardier Airlines there, and they emerged. Currently, we are building the A320 at Brooklyn Field. We're building, I think, 6 planes per month. And with the A220 that we will be building, that's going to be an additional 4, meaning 10 airlines per month is what we'll be building. It's great opportunity for expanded employment. We were concerned that a sizable number of the jobs that's already out there have already gone to Baldwin County. I reminded them while I was there that unemployment in the city of Mobile is around 5%. Unemployment in the African American community is 12%. And the money that we are giving them to build the facility where they're going to construct the planes coming from all of our citizens, all over this, and that's who I expect to get those jobs. And I want them to make special provision to make sure that all of our citizens are included, that they take special actions to make sure all the citizens are included. And we had with us, traveling with us, I don't know how many Baldwin County officials were on the trip with us. You know how much money they contributed toward bringing them here? Nothing. But they go walk away with the jobs. We were meeting with Ulster here the other day because they want to expand. I asked them to bring me their employment list with them, and we started with the white-collar jobs. The white-collar jobs, he said it was almost 500 from Baldwin County and a little over 600 from Mobile County. You know how much Baldwin County contributed toward bringing Ulster here? 0, but they have walked away with the jobs. And I told them I'm not voting to spend another dime of the taxpayer money with them if that's what they're going to keep on doing. If you want to bring all of these people from everywhere else in, then let them contribute toward bringing you here. If we got to foot the bill, we want the jobs. So at least I was there, and I was able to speak what was in the bottom of my heart. No.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. We'll now hear from distinguished gentleman from the 4th District, Mr. John Charles Williams.
Thank you. I look forward to participating in the discussion this afternoon. I just respectfully ask all colleagues if we have amendments, give us a couple of days to mill them or come talk to me personally if that's what you prefer to consider the amendments. I just would hope that we can either openly discuss those amendments or present them in some manner before we get to next Tuesday's meeting, and so we can pass the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And now we'll hear from the distinguished gentlelady from the 6th District, Ms. Bess Casper Rich.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate that. Again, I'll just announce about the meeting at 2 o'clock in this auditorium with the towing industry, for them to give input to this council as we develop a new ordinance and/or amend the current ordinance. So we hope that they're going to come prepared with their standards that they would like to see developed within that ordinance. We'll be all ears to listen as a committee, and we pledge also to get out any draft that comes forward so that they'll have some input into that as we move along. And again, I know that our public safety director mentioned our 9/11 anniversary tomorrow. And actually, I was on council at the time. It was a Tuesday, and we conducted our meeting, which I thought was exactly correct, because we were going to continue our public service to this community regardless of any enemies that were out there, and we all gathered up to have a regular council meeting that day. But it behooves us to on this particular day, because it really was a defining moment for anyone who was present, and then again for future, to always remember our first responders. They went in as others were running out. And so it's a time to really thank them, remember them, and give them your courtesy of recognizing their heroism, the true heroes that are among us. I know they dress up for the children, but these are really our true heroes in our community. So I hope that you'll take a time to do that for them on this day, but always remember them day in and day out, all first responders. They made a big difference that day and saved a lot of lives. Thank you.
Thank you. I certainly join my colleagues in remembering that tragic day, and our continued prayers go to those families who are impacted, and the way that this country's been impacted. It has certainly been impacted tremendously, both from a TSA standpoint, just a security standpoint in general. And we're just grateful to God that we have not had the level of disturbance since then. And also would like to keep in our thoughts and prayers those in the Bahamas that could have very easily been us, United States. And so I don't think we need to take that lightly or for granted. There are many opportunities to assist those who need help. I think the port has a big effort going on, and we'd ask our citizens to do whatever they can to be of some assistance in that regard. Speaking to the budget and some of the comments Mr. Williams made, we have colleagues who are going to be proposing amendments to the budget. We ask that you would get that over to our finance chair, copy to members of this council by Thursday, so that we can begin looking these items over and working with the administration to try to plan a path forward to finance these items. One that you will be getting from my office is concerning a downtown music festival. For the last quarter century, our restaurant owners, our bar owners, our hotel operators have depended on a music festival in place the first week of October in a very slow period of time, particularly in Mobile. And I'm sad to hear of the dismantling of 1065, but it never was quite what Bayfest was to this community anyway. And if we don't invest in ourselves, how can we expect anyone else to invest? We invest in all of these other things. All of these other things, $1 million for this football game, $150,000 for that football game. And I certainly think that we can find the ability to invest in our downtown. If our goal is to go from 3 million tourists a year to 6 million tourists a year, are we going to do it off the back of GovQuest? No. Are we going to do it off these antebellum homes and antique trees? No, sir. No, ma'am. If we're gonna get that level of increased tourism, we're gonna have to invest in ourselves. Nobody's gonna wake up in Jackson, Mississippi, say, oh, I just gotta go to Mobile to the Gulf Quest. We've seen how that ride runs. And we get ready to put $1 million in it this year. The DAR, nobody's coming to that. We've got to incentivize people to want to come to Mobile. And if we don't do it, who will, is my take on it. And I may have colleagues who disagree, and they have that right. But that will be one of my amendments that I'll be turning in on Thursday to our finance chair, Mr. Daves.
If I could just,
Sure.
I think you meant this, but if I could just request that any such amendments, if they're going to add an item of expenditure, then they need to decrease an item of expense elsewhere in the budget.
Or either go to reserves,
necessarily,
or
not
go to
necessarily.
reserves.
Right.
There's opportunities, Mr. Daves. You're a finance man, you know this. And so
Right.
you'll get this on Thursday, and I appreciate your leadership from this budget perspective.
Mr. Chair, before we go, we've talked about sidewalks, and just a reminder to the utilities out there, we are asking that when you go to work on a pole, a line, whatever, if at all possible, do not park big trucks on the sidewalks. We've had a meeting about this, we've discussed it with the various utilities. They were to funnel the word down to all of their people as well as their subcontractors, and not a week after that meeting, the exact same thing was going on. We get pictures from residents who show trucks parked on the sidewalk. Some don't have to park there in order to get to a pole or whatever they're doing. They could very easily park in a driveway or in a parking lot, but the sidewalk is right there close to the pole, and so they would prefer to park there and just get out and, go work on it. We have one area where the sidewalk had just been repaired, and the big truck was parked right there on the sidewalk and broke it again. We understand that sometimes that's the only place for these trucks to park in order to do the work that they have to do, and we get it. But what they also have to understand and be willing to do is to come back and make those repairs. And so we have to be vigilant too in making sure we know which trucks are parked where and when, because when we come back and say that sidewalk was damaged, they're all going to throw up their hands and say, not us, not us. So we have to be vigilant as well in making sure that when the trucks park there, because there is no place, and again, we understand that someone is held responsible to make repairs on those sidewalks, because we spend millions of dollars on constructing new sidewalks and going through and repairing the older sidewalks. And it gets really frustrating to hold these meetings and then to see the very same thing happening over and over again. So just wanted to add that little bit about sidewalks for anybody who happens to be listening out there about sidewalks, and to please work with us to stay off the sidewalks as best you can.
And I agree with Ms. Gregory, and this is to the downtown restaurant owners and bar owners who are letting these individuals park on your sidewalks, and you come and you beg and you entreat for us to come and fix your sidewalks, and we've done it. And then I drive by and you got all of these vehicles and other kind of vehicles parked on the sidewalk. It's absolutely ridiculous. When I've got citizens in neighborhoods begging for sidewalks who would treat them with respect. And so I'm going to offer a motion that we adjourn because my iPad is ringing and I don't know why it's doing that. Any further discussion? I made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Probably motion is second. Thank all of you for coming.
It is working.
It is working.